mode ready for Classic as well. I think I saw Terran boosters on those Goliaths as well. That's going to help him a lot. He's going to still have some comm stats. Has those 2 comm stations. Going to have some comm stats to prevent those raids from being too much of a pain. Don't see any turrets there. Those would help, but we're going to see what it is actually coming. Definitely saw Charon boosters. So Flash at the very least inching in, using those comm stats of his own, trying to kill some tanks there at the front. And Classic not really doing much anything there to fire back. Finally, their comm set coming off, but Classic actually not getting a shot off. But they're always trying to spot the position. Has a dropship. This could be dangerous. This could be risky. This could be very risky. We're going to see who's actually going to go drop in and do some economic damage. This is going to be right on top of the tanks. If your dropship gets spotted, no matter where it's going, the Wraiths will go in and pick it up. Flash, meanwhile, has a fairly large number of tanks there at the front. And that dropship going to get spotted with one single SCV there at the front by Flash. More Wraiths being produced, so the Wraiths might completely stop this. We're going to see it's going to be a drop coming in. Couple of Goliaths here on the expansion beyond the eggs, where there is nothing for Flash. Really also going to drop 2 Goliaths, 3 Goliaths right inside the main. Not that many SCVs. I think they were pulled just in time. Bunch of Wraiths. They're coming in position. They're going to pick off that dropship. There are Goliaths down there. Dropship going to go down in seconds, and Goliaths had nothing to fire. Classic going to sack that. 2 Goliaths still there at the main base of Flash. They're going to get picked off completely. But Flash has a huge number of tanks. Where do you get those tanks from? You'd think Classic would have a bit of an economic advantage here, but Flash definitely pushing this, but he has to go for it. I don't think really very good idea now for Flash to let this game go on too far. It has been a good idea. That is going to be the 3rd time he takes down the barracks. So, wow, that's already now going to be 450 minerals that Classic has to waste on building barracks again and again and again and again. Flash also has opened himself up to picking up that secondary beyond the eggs. He's also putting turrets there at a more dependable position. But Classic has a lot more dropships. A couple of dropships out there. Start floating out his eBay now. Has tanks and dropships and Goliaths in there. Wondering whether he's actually going to try to drop on. If he drops on top of those siege tanks, he's going to catch Flash completely out in the open. And that's really going to put him in a good position to get back into this. But he has to be very careful now. Moving out, there are turrets actually out there waiting for Flash. He's actually going to elevator this. Not sure what the turrets are spotting. They are. Oh, Wraiths coming in here. Comm set go off. Goliath's going to get a few shots off. But the Wraiths are in very large numbers, so they're going to eat away at those tanks as soon as they get. Oh, man. Failed elevator here. Quite unfortunate for Classic. Failed elevator. Oh, man. Those tanks just get ripped to pieces. Look at all those Wraiths. I mean, generally, Wraiths, even in a decently large number, 5-6 Wraiths, don't really take down a tank that fast, but that's over a control group, I think. At the very least, a control group of Wraiths, and they're just ripping those tanks to pieces. +1 weapons on Flash's tanks as well, so he's been utilizing his armory a little bit quicker for more than just Goliaths. Actually, Flash, I believe, doesn't have any Goliaths, just pumping Wraiths. Still pumping Wraiths, I believe. Still think I saw Starport blinking. Getting his science facility up there, so he's working on his next tech. Also putting up a base there at the inside, what is that, 4 o'clock, inside 4 o'clock. Classic, really, the only way he gets back into this game right now is to utilize his dropships. He has to make sure that Flash doesn't get more expansions. That expand at the inside 4, that has to go down. And he's dropping all over the place, trying to engage Flash on the ground somewhere, I think, maybe beyond eggs. I'm not really quite sure what the whole point is. Okay, he's a command center, so actually trying to pick up a base, but his dropships. Oh, man. All of his dropships go down. 1 Wraith, I think, went down in the response. Classic has a bit of a defendable force there, but still not quite that strong. Not quite that strong. Finally going to push out of his base soon, I hope. Unfortunately for him, that the natural expansion is a bit of a closed line. Not really that much space to move out, especially when you're something a tank and when you're facing a final line. You're just going to siege up and try to fire back. And just trying to safely pick up a base here at the 6 o'clock position, trying to fight back. He really needs to get some harassment going. Unfortunately, with all those Wraiths dropship tactics, not really the best idea right now. Wraith's going to come in right now. Going to help us, oh man, act as nice spotters to help Flash pick off as many tanks as distance as he can. And, of course, really also can't just plop a bunch of SCVs in a dropship and go to that 6 o'clock. Still producing dropships, though. I think at this point, though, dropship play has failed him, and he's going to go for it again. I think it's just going to get knocked down again. He's going to find himself in a lot of trouble. He's not going to be able to harass that secondary at the 12 o'clock that's going to go down. Additional starports, though, so he's definitely going to try to continue his dropship play. He knows that this is probably his only chance, and it probably is. Try to pick up a safe base here at the upper left hand. Try to get some forces down there as well before he floats a command center. He has to be even careful with all this Wraiths out there. If he tries to float a command center, if the Wraiths spot it, they just might catch him mid-fight and kill it. Arbor is going down there. Flash going to go open himself up some eggs so he can move towards the 6 o'clock position and start doing some damage. I think Flash right now, he just needs to continue playing the containment game. He has to make sure the Classic does not get any more bases up, make sure the Classic doesn't prevent him from getting base up. And I think with the contain he has on the entire right side of the map and north side of the map, he's going to be able to pretty well prevent, Classic from doing any sort of damage to his bases. But Classic now has Classic won a few SCVs here. This is not even started mining, just not going to start building a refinery. That's going to go down. Siege tanks coming up. Cancel the refinery before it goes up. Gablamo. Few forces there. Commands are going to go lifted up. Turret's going to come up just to try to prevent those raids from coming in and doing even more damage. Classic still moving around with those dropships, wondering whether those actually have SCVs for him to start mining off. Think they do, in fact. But let's see. Flash, main still mining. Nat still mining. 12 still mining. 2 still mining. I'm sorry. Inside 4. 5 o'clock main base also now coming up. So he's going to be sitting on 5 bases very soon. Classic has been sitting on 3 for a while and kind of has trying to desperately get a 3rd and a 5th up. Try to keep this game in it. Trying to stay in this game, but it's not really helping him out. 4 dropships now going to come in from Flash. Flash knows to do some economic damage now would be absolutely dead away, especially if one of the critical bases. Oh man, Classic. Look at all his SCVs go down. Tanks with weapons too, killing everything. Some of them didn't even siege up just to make sure that those SCVs couldn't come close. Goliath also play Wraiths in play. The commands are floating up, but it's actually just going to let everything kill it faster. Also forces moving in towards that upper left hand. Just going to siege those eggs. Flash knows it just to slowly edge up and try to continue to do the damage. Picked off the base here of Classics at the lower left hand. Classic looking like he's in a significant amount of trouble. Going to try to push out with dropships. 4 dropships. He should actually be able to clean this up. Might lose a dropship or 2. Not the forces, though. Actually, doesn't lose a single dropship. Now he's going to lose the dropship. Base coming in. Move out with his tanks as well. Loses his entire dropship fleet again. And those Wraiths really just, doing some damage to those tanks. God. Raids are going to finally be forced back, but Classic not allowed to pick up the 6 o'clock base. Flash has that taken up. Finally has the 5 o'clock base for himself. And Classic only mining off 2 bases now. His main can't be too healthy, though. His natural expansion probably has some resources, but not nearly enough to support what he needs. I think this game is very, very short from being a GG. Only a few minutes away from Classic's GG, and Flash going to take this. I thought Classic was going to have a little bit upper hand earlier on because he managed to get the 3rd base up without being too threatened. But Flash has managed to instantly put on the contain. To get a bunch of tanks out there, put on the contain, put on the pressure game, get his own bases up, and just make sure the Classic can't do anything. And just been an absolutely perfect game. It's really hard to beat a guy like Flash in the TVT. He just has immaculate skill, immaculate timings, knows exactly what to do at any time. Has absolute reaction, still has like huge amount of tanks, control group I think of tanks outside the natural expansion that that Classic has not been allowed to move up. Now finally floating up his command center, interestingly enough, wondering if that's a mistake or they're just actually blocking away from something. I'm wondering what it's going to do with that. I think Classic's just going to finally just going to try to break out. SCVs first, tanks following it, just a conga line for everything to fire on. Wraiths coming in, trying to take some damage. Some tanks trying to desperately siege up, but there's just no way. Even even Marines here at the front trying to get in on the action, getting a couple of shots off, but just no way. Classic GG's, and Flash moves on to the winners match, and it just looks easy peasy. By the way, I gotta admit that the new KT Rollster uniforms are awesome. The black ones are pretty cool too, but they just didn't seem to have the personality these ones do. So they're a little bit more like their old KTF uniforms, I guess, without the orange. So that's it. Classic moving on to the losers. Flash to the winners. S2 versus Effort next. GG guys, Ranshan listening. Hope you enjoyed. Here's to another great MSL.